Welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at mass.gov, and we're taking a look at copper in drinking water, an FAQ for school and childcare facilities. So what is the issue when it comes to copper? Sometimes it's something we don't even think about. It could be something that we overlook. We much more tend to focus on lead. But copper is something we need to take a look at as well. So the first question you may have is, how does it get into our drinking water? In the case of different states, most drinking water sources come from reservoirs and groundwater and do not contain elevated levels of copper. But when copper is present in the water, it's typically due to the water flowing through pipes or plumbing in the building with copper and brass parts, service lines, which are pipes that connect to homes, schools, or other buildings, and to the water main, and could have copper inside them. Inside the school or facility, there could also be copper pipes or brass fixtures, and copper levels are the highest when the water has been sitting in the pipes for several hours. And this can be quite common if there's a lot of different pipes and fixtures and places where it can get stuck. The amount of copper in the water decreases after water is run for 1 minute, although just flushing it out may not work. So how does copper get into someone's body? We regularly come into contact with small amounts of copper from breathing air, drinking water, and just eating foods. So copper is not easily absorbed through the skin, but we may also come into it with contact through copper by touching copper, particles attached to copper, or copper compounds. Because copper is essential to good health in small trace amounts, everybody absorbs small amounts of copper every day. And our bodies have a natural mechanism to maintain the proper level of copper. But what if, and here's the issue, copper levels in the drinking water of school, childcare are high? What does it do? If the copper levels are high for the U.S. Environmental Agency, the EPA, the action level of 1,300 micrograms per liter, or 13 parts per billion, you may have heard both terms, your school or childcare facility should work to determine the source. Where is it coming from? Pipes? Is it coming from an outside source? What is causing it? And then they can provide assistance to schools and childcare facilities, and once a school is aware of the water copper exceedance, they should prevent access to any tap or fountain above action level and provide an alternative source of water. And there are actually a number of ways copper levels can be reduced, such as replacing pipes and fixtures, reducing corrosiveness of water, and initiating a flushing program. And your school or childcare facility should keep parents, teachers, and staff updated. Now, you might be wondering, well, I've heard all this, but how does actually copper cause problems? What does it do? Periodically, drinking water does contain copper, and the above action level does not guarantee it will harm someone's health. So it's not like lead, where any amount is dangerous. It can have some copper, and it's not necessarily going to hurt you, but excess amounts can, and consuming levels of copper above the action level may cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach cramps. And some infants and children, people with liver disease, maybe they're immunocompromised, maybe their immune system isn't up to the best standard or any issues, people with Williams disease have trouble eliminating copper from their bodies and are more likely to experience negative health effects. What are they? They can be kidney and liver damage, processing toxins. And how can you reduce copper exposure at school and childcare facilities? Some of these things to do are base signs: identifying water outlets that are for hand washing only, shouldn't be used at all, let the water run for 1 minute, and use cold water for drinking and cooking. If you want to run hot water, run cold water from the faucet and warm it from the microwave or stove. When mixing powdered baby formula with tap water, always use cold water, do not use hot water. Now these are some suggestions and some ideas, but when it comes to keeping children safe and keeping people in your school safe, your staff, teachers, and everybody else, it's always a good idea to periodically test your water for copper so you know what the levels are.